The Gein farm, 200 acres of silence and isolation. After George Gein, the father and husband, died, 3 souls remained inside that house. Augusta Gein, the mother who ruled with scripture and scorn, her sons, Henry and Ed, were bound to her will like servants of faith. Augusta's words were law. A religious fanatic, she was puritanical to the point of cruelty in her opinions on alcohol and women. Women were wicked. The world was sin. Only she was pure. And Ed, the quiet, impressionable son, worshipped her like a saint. Augusta had a profound impact on Gein, who developed an unhealthy dependence on her. And an Oedipus complex inevitably formed. But Henry began to question her. He told neighbors he worried about Ed and that the bond between mother and son wasn't normal. He spoke of leaving, starting a life beyond the farm. And that, some say, sealed his fate. It was Tuesday, May 16, 1944. The Gein brothers were burning brush on their farm, clearing fields before the planting season. A common chore, until the wind turned against them. Flames leapt across the dry fields, smoke rolling thick as night fell. Neighbors saw the smoke and called for help. Soon, Plainfield's fire crew was fighting to stop the flames. When the fire finally died, Ed told them Henry was missing, that the two had been separated in the thick smoke. He called for him, but there was no answer. At first, they believed he'd vanished into the fields, maybe trying to beat back the flames, or escape them. But hours passed, and he never came home. That night, Ed went to the sheriff, said he couldn't find his brother. A search party formed. Lanterns in hand, they scoured the fields. And then, within minutes, Ed led them straight to the body. But here's where the story takes a strange turn. The papers said Henry's body was found face down, the grass around him only lightly burned. He seemed to have been dead for a while. Some claim there were scorch marks on his clothes. Others say not a single burn was found on his skin. There were no signs of struggle, except for the bruises on his head. Though his body did exhibit some markings that could have been wounds, officials at the time ruled out foul play. His official cause of death was asphyxiation or smoke inhalation, leading to heart failure, according to the Milwaukee Journal-Sentinel. No autopsy, no inquest. The case was closed before the body was cold. Yet whispers eventually grew louder in Plainfield. If Henry wasn't burned, then how did he die? And why did Ed, the man who led the search, walk straight to his brother's body, as if he already knew where it lay? The neighbors didn't speak of it openly, but behind closed doors, they remembered, Henry had been the only one who ever dared to challenge Augusta. That he tried to talk sense into Ed, tried to break her spell. Henry and Ed reportedly clashed over their religious and domineering mother. Henry criticized Augusta's dominance over Ed, which enraged him. Ed idolized her. He was astonished to learn his brother didn't also regard their mother as a saint on earth. And maybe that made him dangerous. Had Henry already made enemies in the house before the fire even started? This tension fueled later theories that Ed may have fatally struck Henry in the head and then set a fire to conceal his involvement. If that fire was no accident, then Henry Gein may have been the first victim of the Plainfield butcher. It's also been said that the sheriff wanted to avoid scandal and grief for Augusta, so the case was quietly closed as an accident. Henry Gein was Ed Gein's older brother, who was 43 years old at the time of his mysterious death in 1944. After Henry's death, the farmhouse grew quieter. And Augusta, Ed's mother, became Ed's entire world. He clung to her even tighter, as though the fire had burned away everyone else. But in 1945, Augusta suffered a stroke. Within months, she was gone, and with her passing, the last thread of Ed Gein's sanity snapped. Neighbors said he howled like a wounded animal. He sealed off her rooms and left her things untouched, as a shrine to her perfection or control. The rest of the house decayed into filth and madness. Without her voice to command him, Ed began to listen to darker ones. Whispers from the graves filled his nights. One voice rose above them all, his mother's. Scolding, commanding, never gone. And before long, Ed Gein became a grave robber, bringing the dead into his home, crafting furniture and household items from their skin and bones. But before the murders, before the masks and the lampshades, there was a fire in a lonely field, and a brother who may have pushed him too far to escape his mother's firm grip. Was Henry's death a tragic accident, or the first spark of something evil? Although Henry died under mysterious circumstances, there is no proof that Ed killed him. Ed Gein never confessed to killing his brother, but, in 1957, he did confess to murdering two women: Beatrice Worden, a local hardware store owner, and Mary Hogan, a tavern operator. We'll never know for sure. But sometimes, the dead don't stay buried for long. And, they may be buried, but their secrets have a way of clawing back to the surface.
Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe for more stories, and hit the notification bell to stay informed.